Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fragrant Bunker. I'm so excited today because you know how much I love my Chanel perfumes and how much I love Comete. I will be re-reviewing it 1 year after I purchased it because I got a brand new bottle here waiting to be initiated because I emptied the bottle that I used for my first reviews of Comete. Yes, it's been a year since I purchased the perfume, give or take a week or two. I did buy it in, I think it was April of 2024, April, May of 2024. And as I'm filming, it's April/May of 2025. So there you go, guys. I have emptied my first 200 ml bottle. I know some people are super shocked. I've been talking about how much I love this perfume and how quickly it was emptying up. And people were like, oh my God, really? Do you love it that much? Yes, I do. I really love it that much. My first bottle was batch code 9401. You can't really see it. It's etched down there. 9401. Trust me, it's there. 9401. And the new batch, also from the embossed box. I took off the box already to save us some time because 9501. So we went from 9401 to 9501 to save us some time. You can check out the unboxing of the embossed box in my predecessor video of Comete. I haven't sprayed this one yet, but it already is poking out a little bit, the smell from the spray nozzle. So this one is brand new. I'm so excited. Also, everything I say in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not rooted in truths or facts. Everything's alleged and just my opinion. Subscribe, thumb up the video, and check out my 35 ml bottle. End of 2024, beginning of 2025, Chanel launched for the first time ever their 35 milliliter coffrets or sets. You get to choose 5 Les Exclusifs fragrances that are in stock at the moment when you choose them. And then you buy the set of 5. You cannot purchase them individually. But anyway, hashtag also not sponsored, by the way. I bought all of this myself. Thank you. Independent reviewer here, okay? I did buy the set of 5. You can check out my video on that as well on my channel. Comete was one of those 5 that I purchased. This one is batch code 0501. Right down there. Come. Is it going to focus? Yes, it will. 0501. There you go. Eau de Parfum concentrations, and then just for funsies, I got a little baby bottle as well, the 4 milliliter sample bottle. They call this the luxury or the deluxe samples. This is 9301 batch code. So this is the youngest, well, the oldest actually. This is one of the earliest produced batch codes, 9301. Then we went to 9401, and then I got 9501. The embossed box was just for the first few batches released of Comete, and then after that you will be getting this 200 ml bottle in the regular white non-embossed Chanel bottle. So, oh my gosh, also for the occasion, I have been using this perfume a lot, as you've seen, for the entire year. And this is my kind of reassessment, re-review after 1 year of using Comete in spring, summer, autumn, and winter. You know, I've had a chance to live with this fragrance throughout the entire year. And so I prompted Bubbles the bot to generate this new background for the updated review of Comete. Check this out. This is the vibe that I was feeling as I gave Bubbles the directions. Let me try to move as much as I can. It's like a comet in the sky. It's very interesting, very fascinating energy, I want to say. Now, for the first review of Comete, I did talk about the Greek mythology of Clytie, the water nymph, and Helios, the god of the sun, and the history of how the heliotrope was born. So Comete is fundamentally a heliotrope perfume. So let's spray it on, and then I can keep on talking to you about it. The first spray. I just, I love this perfume so much. Okay. The heliotrope is the heart of this perfume, our Clytie water nymph. To hear about the story of Clytie, the water nymph, check out my predecessor review of Comete. You're going to see a Greek statue in the thumbnail, I think on this side, for that perfume video review. And other than heliotrope, we start off with a cherry blossom accord, which is an almondy accord, which derives from the aldehydic opening of this perfume. So I believe that we have a particular aldehyde that gives us the illusion of almonds, tweaked in a way to give us the illusion of cherry blossom. Now, cherry blossom doesn't have a smell, really. So it smells botanical, but it doesn't smell like, oh my gosh, these delicate scented flowers. It doesn't have really a scent. So for the longest time, perfumery has delved into a divertissement of creating accords when it is about cherry blossom, creating accords that like imagining, like a fantasy. If a cherry blossom had a particular intense smell, what would it be? And for the most part, those smells in perfumery have relatively cheap smells. By cheap, I don't mean money-wise. I mean, they just smell a little bit synthetic, a little bit, not a lot of effort went into the ingredients. Usually, shampoo-y, beauty salon type of vibes, hair product type of vibes. Not this one. This one has a very distinct almondy accord in the opening, and it is slightly sweet, but very powdery from the get-go. The powder comes from the iris, and the iris connects and latches onto the heliotrope, and the heliotrope kind of twirls around you just like a comet. Like a comet would fly around you as you're wearing the perfume. And it's the heliotrope finally met its sun. This is why this background. It's the continuation of our drama, the Greek tragedy of Clytie, the water nymph. She finally met Helios. And this is their unity. They crash together, and inside of the heart of this comet that is pulsating with energy, you can see that it's about to erupt from within. You have the heliotrope. The crust is that aldehyde with iris. And then what else we got here that is interesting to note? Well, we're going to get to the musks later, but iris and heliotrope. So it flies around your body as you're wearing the perfume, like a comet. And that's the whole idea of this fragrance, which drives me nuts in the best way possible, because that heliotrope emanates a delicate sweetness, almost vanilla-like, but it's not vanilla. It never goes into the gourmand territory. It is sweet-ish, but very Chanel. Chanel doesn't do sweet. Somebody asked me a while ago, Dacob, could you recommend me a sweet Chanel perfume? And I said, well, Chanel doesn't do sweet. Chanel is maybe the only perfume house that really never did sweet. They always do abstraction of elegance, slight detachment, dryness. The closest you can get with sweetness with Chanel would be if you want that chocolate accord in Coromandel. Best if you get one of the first batches of the Eau de Toilettes, which no longer are in production. Because of that white chocolate accord, Coromandel has a little bit that vibe. The sweet Chuli trend was started in the Y2K era with Coco Mademoiselle, and Coco Mademoiselle also patchouli, fruity, chocolatey patchouli vibe in the dry down. Still not really sweet though, even though they call it a sweet Chuli. It's as sweet as it can get with Chanel. Allure has a smidge of sweetness in the dry down. But other than that, if you want to go for sweet, you don't do Chanel, right? And this one has a smidge of sweetness, but it's so powdery because the iris kind of keeps battling and twirling around with that heliotrope. So you get a very delicate, subdued smidge and hint of memory of delicate sweetness, but with a lot of iris, and there's a lot of dryness there and a lot of elegance. poised, controlled flight through the universe and through the ages, billions and billions of years spent on this comet or within the comet, flying through the universe. And then we hit the musks in the dry down. Now, the musks are synthetic musks, and it's a very similar musk nuance accord that we have in Olivier Polge's predecessor to Comete, which would be 1957. After 1957, he did Le Lion de Chanel. But 1957 came out around about 2018. It's all about the musks. 1957 has a bunch of musks. I think 6 different musks are in there. 1 or 2 or 3 of those are in here as well. Yeah, you can sense out that same DNA, which we have become accustomed to seeing and sniffing and understanding as the new Chanel DNA of the future, but also the signature of Olivier Polge at Chanel. Olivier Polge being the son of Jacques Polge, so there's a little bit of nepotism there. What are you going to do? But even though there's a little bit of nepotism there, I do believe that Olivier Polge is doing a relatively good job, really good job at Chanel, because the products that he has created thus far, the perfumes he has created thus far are really, really beautiful. Minus Eau Splendide. I do have a problem with Eau Splendide. It does give me headaches. Now, hear me out. This is a review of Comete, and I did purchase this one last year as I was stocking up on this one, knowing that every year Chanel has a price increase, so I did not want to wait with this one. I knew I was going to use it up real fast, so I stocked up as much as I could before the prices went up. They went up considerably in the States from $500 to $540 a bottle for the 200 ml. In Europe, they went up from €405 to €440, I believe, a bottle. Still much cheaper in Europe than in the States, but like insanity. I hope that Chanel doesn't do another price increase this year due to all the things going on in the world. So if they do another 10% price increase on this one, then we're going to jump up. So in January, no, 1st of February, the price went up from $500 to $540. If they do a 10% price increase now, again, due to what's going on in the world, then we're going to jump up to $594. They're going to round it up to $595, or they might even round it up to $590 or $600. So we went up from $500 last year to potentially $600 this year, plus tax on top, if there is another price increase. So I'm really, really happy that I got this one, that I got as many bottles as I could last year, as I was anticipating terrible price increases this year. So the price is awful. But the sad thing about all of this is, after all is said and done, there are niche houses out there that price their perfumes much higher per milliliter than Chanel does for their Les Exclusifs. So, and the Les Exclusifs are really gorgeous quality. The ingredients are top-notch quality. Have been so far, at least. We're going to get to it in a second. But a lot of niche brands are just like, the quality isn't there, but they're charging a lot and they think they can get rich real quick with this whole niche concept. But there's like thousands and thousands of new niche perfumes being launched every year. It seems like there's more niche perfumes being launched every year than there are main release and mass release perfumes being launched each year. So is niche even still niche anymore? Conceptually speaking, I know there are rules for niche and how the distribution is and how many points of distribution per state and city, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But still, niche has become more mainstream than mainstream at this point. Now to get to the quality. I have a problem with Eau Splendide, the Chance Flanker. It gives me headaches in the dry down. There's something about that perfume when it hits the dry down. I mean, there's raspberries in it, blackcurrant, sandalwood. The sandalwood is manipulated in a way to give you an iris accord. But musks, but something in the dry down gives me a headache, and it smells so bland, flat, and cheap. It's vile. Chanel just changed their director for beauty, both makeup, skincare, or all three, makeup, skincare, and fragrances. So Olivier Polge has a new boss. That new boss has been instated to work at Chanel end of last year, so around about October, November 2024. after, it seems, allegedly, they kind of made the lady who was the boss for almost 15, if not more than 15 years. They made her resign, leave. Allegedly made her resign and leave. Okay. I'm just speculating here because the new one, the new chippy that came in, used to work for Coty and L'Oreal. Now, Chanel, as of now, is a privately owned company. They don't have shareholders. They don't have to answer to any stockholders and any, quarterly revenue reports to all the shareholders. So it's not like they have to push that capital and push uh, all of those earnings and all of those profits as crazily high as would a publicly owned company. Still, Chanel's price increases are among the most aggressive we have had for a luxury brand throughout the pandemic years. And one thing I could always count on was the quality of their perfumes. Always. I mean, especially the Les Exclusifs. I mean, their main release perfumes use slightly different quality of ingredients than the Les Exclusifs. Les Exclusifs are a little bit more elevated. And then their parfums, or the extraits, which are now for the most part discontinued. Ask yourself why. For example, they would always say in interviews that for Chanel No. 5, for the extrait, the parfum, the little, well, they used to also sell it as a spray version, 7.5 mil and 15 mil. They discontinued the 15 mil, then they had the 7.5 mil. Now they discontinued the 7.5 mil spray. Now you only have the splash still available. We digress. They would use their roses, their May roses from the fields of Grasse in France, as well as the jasmine from the fields of Grasse for the extrait of No. 5. They would not have enough of those flowers to use for the eau de parfum, eau de toilette l'eau, or eau première. Those plants would be harvested from other countries. So they would keep their most precious ingredients that they grow in their own country for the extraits. You can imagine how masterful and beautiful they smell. Jersey, Les Exclusifs extrait, that lavender, I have never in my life smelled a lavender like that, like the one in the extrait of Jersey, which is discontinued. But I know we've been talking about it since over a year now. Rumor has it that Chanel will bring back the extraits in a new packaging. But you see, this is where I'm worried about the quality. That lady that's now the new boss, she probably has to answer to the upper management. One of the CEOs is Lina Nair, who comes from Unilever. I still have no clue why they would hire that woman, but hey, they did. And a lot of things went, in my opinion, not in a good way ever since she took office at Chanel, but to each their own. And now I'm worried that this new boss at Chanel Beauty Makeup Perfumes is also going to push for cheapening the raw materials, maximizing profits. Allegedly, I'm just worried, and I'm worried justly so, because for the first time ever in my life, a Chanel perfume gave me a headache and smelled really cheap in the dry down. And that would be Eau Splendide. Eau Splendide being the first perfume released under the guidance of this new boss. I don't know what Olivier Polge is thinking, if he's okay with this or not. Maybe it was just a one-time fluke or something. Maybe they just got to tweak the formula a little bit because it's a new perfume and the first batch is maybe a little bit, I don't know. You never know. But what I'm worried about is that if it's true that they are trying to maximize profits with their perfumes, because it's not like their sales are going that well, I've heard. Why did they have to fire so many workers in America from Chanel? Why are they starting to close certain boutiques? I don't know if it's all, roses in paradise for Chanel. So I'm thinking maybe they're going to start also kind of, doing a little something with the formulas of these. And I really worry. So I'm very glad that I purchased as many bottles of this as I could, like a fine wine. I have them in my archives and I'll enjoy them for as long as I have them. I'll let you know as time passes and I start using a next one, as the batch numbers get higher and higher, we're going to see how the smell is. Did they preserve the quality or did something change? And I'm particularly interested to know how, if they indeed do bring back the extraits of the Les Exclusifs that we've had thus far, if they're going to smell as good quality as their first iterations, the predecessors, the bottles that I own in my collection, the 15 ml splashes. So I will be able to compare them once and if the new ones ever hit stores. Of course, I'll buy them. I'm also interested to see how much they're going to cost. How much will the price increase be? Oh, there's a lot to talk about. And I'm very curious to see if we're ever going to get an extrait of Comete. Also, if we're ever going to get the body oil of Comete, that would be amazing. I would also love a body cream. Oh, it's drying down so masterfully, delicately. There's a little bit of that. You remember when we reviewed, and a lot of people who are into perfumes know this as well. This is not just my opinion, but many have said this. In the first iterations of Christian Dior's Hypnotic Poison, which also has an almondy accord in it, by the way, there is, and I think it's due to the vanilla mixed with the almond, that creates a slight Play-Doh-y vibe, like a Play-Doh gourmand vibe. And this one has a smidge of that Play-Doh going for it. Nothing bad, nothing weird. It's just that I believe that for the composition of the fragrance for Play-Doh, and yes, Play-Doh also has a fragrance. I mean, there's no perfume that you can wear Play-Doh, although that would be amazing if they made a Play-Doh perfume, like maybe some limited edition, as a gimmick would be really awesome. No, but I'm talking about the actual putty, the Play-Doh material. It is scented. It has a fragrance, and I do believe that they utilize like an almondy accord for that one, a vanilla almond accord for Play-Doh. Now, the vanilla in here, in reality, is the heliotrope. Now, heliotrope is a very interesting material. It is not so easy to utilize, not so easy to have in really, really good quality. And it is being apparently quite restricted, the use of it. And I do wonder if Chanel will be forced to also restrict the use of heliotrope for themselves. I also think that they calculate these things years in advance. Like when they were formulating this perfume, they already knew which new regulations would be upcoming. And they already, I think, abide by those upcoming rules. Like if they know that there's a new rule and a new restriction coming up, I think they already tweak everything to, from the get-go, have the perfume just be normed by whatever is going to come in the foreseeable future, if officially it's been announced as a new regulation. What's going to happen in the future, I don't know. But another reason why I wanted to purchase the first batches, as many as I can, if I like the perfume, that's what I always do. But boy, oh boy, oh, it's so majestic. It's so majestic. And that Play-Doh vibe, it's so playful and youthful, reminds me of my childhood. But then also that flower is such a beautiful, elegant flower, the heliotrope, also beautiful to see in nature, like a violet, purpley blue, little teeny tiny flowers. Heliotrope also comes in other colors, but the color that it's usually known for is that kind of purpley blue. Tiny little flowers, grows relatively low. And it's famous for turning towards the sun. So as the earth rotates around the sun and around its own axis, actually the earth, well, let's get to this. 24-hour day is not the earth running around the sun in 24 hours. It's running around itself in 24 hours. And then it takes a year for the earth to run around the sun. So running around the sun is a year, although the earth is not really at a straight axis. It's kind of like bent a little bit like that. So it does this turning as it's turning around the sun, you see. And that's why we get summer and winter, right? Depending on which part of the hemisphere you're at, because the earth kind of also tilts a little bit, but it does a little round circle around itself in 24 hours. And as it does that, you have the impression that the sun is actually moving. Anyway, the heliotrope flower has that tendency, just like sunflowers do. They're called sunflowers for a reason, because they follow the sun. As the sun comes out and then goes down, the bloom of the flower kind of turns its little head following the sun. It's very poetic and beautiful. So the heliotrope is a wonderful little flower. That initial almondy, what we are supposed to believe is like cherry blossom accord, dissipates very quickly. And then you're left with this beautifully elegant iris, beautifully elegant heliotrope, sprinkled in with musks. They're not animal musks, they're synthetic musks, but they give us sort of an impression of future and distant places, far away space. There's a silence in this perfume, a type of peace that I've learned to appreciate or discovered throughout this 1 year of using it. You know, Comete goes through many different phases if you're wearing it in spring, summer, fall, or winter. Now, it was the best in summer. At the height of summer when it's super hot outside, like really hot outside. And I tend to wear a lot of this. I wear it all over the body. I spray 15, 20 sprays. I don't care. I overdo it. The heat pulverizes it, almost as if it turns into a dusty cloud that surrounds you with delicate sweetness and poetry. It elevates. It's the smell of the color pink in a way, like a very light, delicate pink color. An antique rose color. Antique rose, the iris, the dustiness of the iris gives it that antique vibe as well, because iris is dusty in a way, powdery rather, but that powder gives you the impression of dust. And in summer, it just pulverizes around you. It's so beautiful. It's almost as if it just, like in space, imagine all of these different artifacts in space, and it just kind of freezes and like it would explode, and then you are the sun, or you are a planet rather, and you have all these moons and particles rotating around you. You have your own gravitational pull, and they all kind of stick around you, and this pulverization just kind of twirls around you like a gazillion little comets flying around you, and you get this beautiful, dry, dusty accord. So divine. In winter, it retracts and becomes more wet or more dense. It's almost as if Comete becomes its own sun. It has its own gravitational pull. It retracts. That explosion in summer becomes a retraction in winter. It stays closer to the skin, and you smell floral, dense accords longer. Not so much immediately that beautiful dry iris. The aldehydes stick around longer in the cold, and it almost seems as though the musk is kind of more wet than dry in winter. Very interesting to wear it in winter. Love it just as much as in summer. But summer has more of that, wow, it takes you into outer space. I mean, you're in a completely different, you're not on planet Earth anymore when you wear Comete in summer. At least that's for me, and I love it. Autumn, I didn't wear it as much in autumn because I feel like in autumn I had more, I was more into the incense vibe in fragrances. I was more kind of incensifying myself. But when I did wear, because there's no incense in here, but when I did wear Comete in autumn, it felt very, how can I describe it? Like, it was like sober experience. It was very sobering. Comete would be kind of like a shot of coffee, like an espresso. Comete would give me some form of energy boost in autumn. Very bizarre. and it was like an energetic injection of, woo, okay, wow, this was like a shot of something, vitamins or caffeine, you know, and then it falls down and becomes very subtle. It's like explosion and then very subtle, like the Big Bang. Again, another space reference. It blasts and then slowly lingers, you know, as the universe expands. That's autumn. Spring, it's the rediscovery of Comete because it was first released in spring of 2024. So it's kind of its birth season is spring. And in fact, cute little one, little munchkin. It delivers a lot of poetry in spring because there are spring days that are cooler, warmer, you know, days start getting longer. It's a poetic time. There can be rain all of a sudden, then it's hot all of a sudden. You never know what to wear really in spring. And it takes you on a journey of poetry. That's when the Greek tragedy comes along. It makes you want to read up on all those beautiful classics. And it just makes you dream. It's a dreamy atmosphere to wear Comete in spring. And it does deliver a different sensation all year round. A different sensation in summer, a different one in autumn, a different one in winter, and a different one in spring. Would I recommend Comete blindly? No, I would not recommend any perfume blindly because these are really expensive fragrances. You don't want to just drop, depending which country you're in, from 440 euro to 500, 600 plus tax dollars for 200 ml bottle. Of course, there's the 75 ml bottle as well, but that one is also expensive, $350 or $230 or 240 euro in Europe and $350 in America plus tax in America. So it's a perfume that I would recommend trying first before buying and living with it. You have to let it grow on you. This is not love at first sniff. This perfume takes its time. It's a comet. It's flying around and it doesn't really want to stay still. It doesn't want to stay put. It doesn't make it too easy on you. It doesn't just like land on you and say like, here I am. What do you think about me? No, it's more like I'm passing by, but if you want to catch me, you have to run after me. And then if we get acquainted, we could start flying together in parallel. And when we do, then the stories are shared. Then Comete opens up and tells you where it's at. And the more time you spend with it and the more it opens up and the more stories it tells. And for me right now, the story it's telling me is that finally Clyde and Helios have met. And I want to think that they are living a wonderful, wonderful, eternal love story in the heart of this comet as they fly through the skies, visiting distant planets, flying through the universe, living that immense silence and dark void of endless universe and galaxies. And then from time to time, they would arrive to some new planet and they would just float through it, get into the atmosphere if the planet has any atmosphere, and then veer through it and, you know, visit the planet and then fly on to the next destination. But they're always at the core together. Their love is eternal, as my love is for Comete. I mean, this perfume, you guys, I really cannot praise it enough. It actually made it to my top 5 Les Exclusifs Chanel perfumes, my updated version of the list of the 5. And I just posted it a short while ago also on my channel, so you can go check out which other 4 Les Exclusifs made it to my top 5 list. Quite different from the first top 5 Les Exclusifs list I made many years ago. You can see the evolution, how tastes evolve, how your state of mind evolves, how you mature and you evolve with time. And with time, you learn more. And the more you learn, the more of a relationship you develop with your fragrance. This is why I personally am all for, you know, updating reviews of perfumes we love. I know a lot of perfume reviewers don't do it. You know, for many, it's just about numbers, like review a perfume, moving on to the next one, moving on. Let me review as many as I can. You know, I'm not about that. I'm all about slowing down your purchases, buy less perfumes, as Vivienne Westwood would say, buy less, choose well, make it last. Although when I love a perfume so much, I can't really make it last that much because I really use it up quickly. But when I love something, I want the story of this relationship and this love affair to evolve. And so this is why every time I unbox a new bottle of Comete, same when I unbox a new bottle of Chanel No. 5, mostly extrait, because that's my favorite concentration, I do a new updated review. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing because it just shows how we mature. It's like a beautiful addendum to natural progression of life. It's like a diary, dear diary, here we are on day 365 of me living with Comete because I discovered it when it was first launched last year. Now it's been 365 days and I'm kind of writing a new little entry into my diary. Or as Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek would say, space log, Enterprise space log, 2025, number 365. I am somewhere traveling together with the two lovebirds, Clytie and Helios, and we are on a distant planet, and we're flying through these beautiful landscapes and atmosphere. There doesn't seem to be yet evolved life on this new planet, but we are carrying life. And as you know, sometimes scientists are saying that a comet can hit a planet that there was no life on the planet before, but the comet carries some life. And as it hits on the surface of the planet, life spreads. And I feel like Comete is flying through the universe, and every time it passes through and visits a certain planet, it leaves some life on that planet. Ooh, getting the chills. I love this perfume so much. Okay, I'm going to stop now. I hope you've enjoyed this updated review, and let me know if you want me to do another one. Not that I won't do it, I'll do it anyway because I have a few bottles that are waiting in my beautiful little perfume wine cellar for the future. But let me know. Also, let's see how soon I manage to finish this bottle. Now it's full. We just did 2 sprays for now, or did we do 3? I can't remember. But there it is, this little beauty. Eau de Parfum concentration. It's done. We have initiated the new flight. You have the concentration printed on the back of the sticker. And these things that look like stains, they're just little air bubbles. You can press these out. You see when I'm pressing on the back? So don't worry about these. All of their stickered perfumes have those little, they look like air bubbles, but you don't really see them on this side. It's totally normal for the Chanel perfumes to have that. Don't worry about that. It's not a flaw. So let's fly together. Hopefully we're going to get to a new planet soon. And maybe, just maybe, it's you, the wearer, that ultimately keeps these lovebirds together. You are maybe the shell of this comet that makes it all really come to life as you wear it. Let me know your thoughts down below if you have a bottle of Comete and how much you enjoy it, or maybe not. That's okay too. We can't all love the same things. Subscribe to my channel, thumb it up to the video, and until next time, never forget to never give up on perfume love. Bye.